The 15-inch MacBook Air is upon us, and here are all the amazing accessories that I'm going to use to turn it into my only computer. Now, I've got this segmented into two parts, how I'm going to travel with it and how it's going to be my only computer here at the house. So let's start off with that, the desk setup. Now, it's actually not a lot, and this is not fancy stuff to get you to go out and buy expensive things. These are actually what I use currently and what I will use in the future. I continue to use the Logitech MX Master 3, the best mouse ever. I think I've talked about this in like 6 or 7 videos at this point, where it's just the best. It's so gross. Like, I'm embarrassed to show it because this is my primary mouse and it is getting a little worn and maybe it's time to get a new one, but ever since I bought this mouse, it is perfect. It's insanely comfortable in the hand. It's not too heavy, but it's not too light. Sometimes you can have those two sides of the same problem with a mouse. If it's too light, I don't like using it. If it's too heavy, it's like an exercise. Got lots of customization with the scroll wheel vertically. You got a scroll wheel horizontally, customizable buttons, USB-C Charger in the front, which is much better than the Magic Mouse. You can connect it via Bluetooth or with a wireless connector. I use a wireless connector. You do have to buy that separately. I was on a big mechanical keyboard kick, and I still like mechanical keyboards. You'll see them around my office all the time. But it's just nice. The Apple Magic Keyboard is just really nice. It's simple. You don't need a lot of stuff to get it to work. The charge lasts forever. Charges via lightning. You just turn it on, pair it to the computer. It's perfect. I like the full-size keyboard when I'm at the desk because I do, as a program manager that does a lot of work in Excel, I need these number of keys quite often. The only thing I don't like about the Magic Keyboard is when I'm playing World of Warcraft and I try to bind keys to my function buttons, it's not as easy with this as it is with a regular keyboard. This is probably the best keyboard mouse combination you are going to find. I use that solo screen like I said, and I always have my laptop in clamshell mode. So the stand for that is actually one that I don't remember the brand of this, but we talked about this not that long ago in a cheapest video, but I continue to use this all the time because you can size it for the laptop. So it's a little thicker right now because I've been using the MacBook Pro. Once I get the MacBook Air, I'll be able to size this down a little bit. It's got screws in the bottom with Allen heads. You just need an Allen key, loosen them up, resize this, tighten it down, and boom, it just works so great. And then the big hub, the thing that makes it all work is the OWC Thunderbolt Pro dock. Now, you don't need to go out and spend this much money on a dock, but the reason I did this is for one key benefit. This has 10 gigabit Ethernet, and I do all of my video editing stuff off of a 10 gigabit network with a server that I built. I need it. So that's the one thing. I had to buy this expensive one because of that. But it's got a lot of connectivity on the back. You get DisplayPort. You get a couple options of USB-C, the 10 gigabit Ethernet, USB 3.2, 10, 10, 10, and I do have the Logitech connector for the mouse plugged into the back. I guess I don't need the connector anymore. I had this connector here because I was using the mouse and a Logitech keyboard and I didn't want to do it all via Bluetooth. On the front, you get CF Express, which I don't use, SD card, and then USB again. I really, really like this. It's heavy too. Like, heavy is a sign of quality. Like, if I had to, I could use this as a weapon if somebody was to try to break into the office. Okay, so that's everything that I use. I just have some cables, plug the one cable into the laptop, and I will be set to go for my home office. For traveling, though, it's a little different. There is some nuance to the things I bring. We're back to, I don't know if you all remember this. This is the trusty Lenovo Backpack that I've been talking about for a few years at this point. I had moved from this to a fancy leather satchel. It's okay because Indiana Jones has one. It works whether you're walking casually around just like a park or something, or if you're in full business attire with your notebook and everything in here. This is so good. It's insanely comfortable. This has held up remarkably well in the years that I've had this. This is just the best bag. This might be the best bag I've ever bought. And I have very, very expensive, high-tech, space-age, ultralight backpacks in my office. This is my favorite backpack. Inside of here, I only keep a few accessories for the laptop. One, I bring the smaller version of the Magic Keyboard because the Magic Keyboard is great, and the travel size version is the lightest weight, fully functional keyboard that I've ever seen. This has just been, you throw it in the bag and you do not feel that it's there. The battery life here is also great. I actually stole this one. I didn't buy this one separately. I stole this one from my wife's M1 iMac. If you're going to be carrying around a laptop for travel, absolutely have this. So you don't, I hate, like, that's the worst part about laptops is trying to use the laptop by itself. For a mouse, I just will bring this. I'll bring the MX Master 3 with me wherever I go. One of the reasons I moved over to the Lenovo bag instead of that leather satchel was the mouse did not fit in the leather satchel too much. So combine these together, this is perfect. I've used this in hotels, airports, everything. These combined, so good. For charging the laptop, you cannot beat the Apple dual USB-C charger. Yes, it's only 35 watts, and yes, if you have two things plugged in, they have to split that 35 watts. So it's not the fastest charger in the world, but I've used this all over the country in hotel rooms everywhere just because of the 2 ports. Sometimes you will only get like a single outlet at a hotel, and all you got to do is plug this thing in. Additionally, normally when you get Apple chargers, the teeth will come out from this end, so you'll plug it in like this, but sometimes you can have problems with the teeth holding in hotel outlets. But when you go like this, it's flush against the wall or the desk or however they have it set up, and it's so easy to plug in. I do always bring one of the gigantic full-size laptop chargers with me, but I rarely use them. I am all about this charger. When this first came out, I thought it was ridiculous and overpriced. This is probably my favorite charger of all time. Now that it will be a MacBook Air and not the MacBook Pro, the one thing that does suck about it is it does not have the same amount of ports as the MacBook Pro, so I will need a dongle. This is another one from that cheapest video, the Mini Sopuru. It's USB-C, it has USB-A on it, HDMI, and then SD card. This is essentially everything I need or would recommend in an adapter. I don't know that I'll use this too much. I don't make a lot of YouTube videos on the road anymore, so I don't really need the SD card slot. This is here mainly for the HDMI port, because that HDMI port on the MacBook Pros is the best part. I will sorely regret that. And this dongle and not having HDMI built into the MacBook Air would probably be the only reason I would eventually ditch that to go back to the MacBook Pro. I do bring along a little external battery. I don't really use this too often either, but this is mainly for airport or long plane rides. This is the Nightcore NU 10000. Yeah, this is the Nightcore 10,000 milliamp hour, 38.5 watt hour charging battery. I carried this one specifically because this is my backpacking battery. I take this with me to charge my phone or cameras or stuff like that when I'm on the trail. Because it's so lightweight, it's not that big of a deal to bring along. I have my cables and stuff. And then another major thing that I carry around with me all the time is the Netgear Nighthawk M6 5G. This little Wi-Fi puck is one of the best purchases that I've ever made. Now, for students that are on a budget, no, don't buy this. But if you're a professional and you have professional things that you need to do on the road, absolutely get this. This has been a lifesaver. I no longer connect to airport Wi-Fi or hotel Wi-Fi because those are historically just not safe connections. This is faster, it's more secure. I like that I can control who is able to connect to it through the interface right here. I don't need an app to do all that. This little rudimentary touchscreen does all that. It's fast. I've been able to upload YouTube videos from the road, which is historically a huge headache for me. It's stupid expensive. Like, this thing is almost as expensive as the laptop, but you can also plug in via USB-C for tether, or it's got an Ethernet port. This is probably my favorite thing in this entire kit. But what about you? Are you buying the 15-inch M2 MacBook Air? Let us know in the comments below what you are going to use for your travel accessories or your home setup. I am very interested. And if you like this video and you want to see why I think the cheapest version is the best, click here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.